It is the 7th day of April 2025. Welcome to the Lord Aboga newspaper review. First, we are going to start with the Standard, whereby the Standard's headline is Budget Betrayal, whereby if things are not amended in the right direction, we are still going to have the resist finance bill calls from Kenyans. Standard is saying that the government is preparing to storm back, blood-stained briefcase in hand, to wring the last drop from a crumbling economy. Budget making has morphed from a duty to serve citizens into a desperate bid for state survival. For millions of poor who are barely hanging on, it's yet another demand to tighten already frayed belts. Last year's finance bill protests cost dozens of youths' lives, yet the regime deaf and unshaken presses on, hell-bent on taxing even the air Kenyans breathe. That is according to the Standard. But I know now we have an expert in the Ministry of Finance, that is John Mbadi. I remember some times back when John Mbadi was in the opposition, he used to tell us, if you want to collect more amount of taxes from Kenyans, you don't need to tax them more. Anyway, but now I see from his tax proposals, he wants to tax Kenyans more. I don't know which language Mbadi was speaking before and the language CPA Mbadi, who is a profession in the finance sector, is speaking today. If you can briefly remember, CPA Mbadi was telling President William Samoei Ruto that he doesn't have experts who can advise him on economic issues.
The President, I want to tell you, the people you have hired, economic advisors you have hired at State House, and the people you have put at the Treasury are not advisors, but they are economic saboteurs.
But Mungu ni nani? Now the very CPA Mbadi, who is an expert in the finance sector, now he is at the helm of Treasury. Wacha tuone kama he'll have to adjust the budget, Wakenya waikubali na mikono miwili, ama again Kenyans will protest about it. I don't know. Maybe someone speaks a different language when he's in the opposition, but when he gets into government, the language completely changes.
Probably one day when Mbadi leaves office, you will start saying that Mbadi did well. They brought down Mbadi, and President Ruto did well, because yes, by the end of the day, this is the government of President William Ruto. He has given me the work, of course, through my party leader, Jeff. Yeah? Sure. So, but we are working for the people of Kenya. So I hope one day people will say, yes, the government worked, Central Bank did a good job, Treasury also did management of the fiscal side, the monetary side, Central Bank, these two organizations worked together, they brought down the interest rates.
But I believe in CPA Mbadi, though, hii maneno ni ngumu sana, imechemka, because the Parliamentary Budget Office, this is the office that is responsible in advising Parliament on issues related to budget, has raised serious concerns about the proposed 2025 budget. And the Parliamentary Budget Office has raised concern that the 2025-2026 budget perpetuates past policy failures, worsening the cost of living, taxes and public services. Instead of relief, the budget will increase taxation and debt. But CPA Mbadi told us it is not a must you tax Kenyans for you to achieve the budget policy of a nation.
A lot has been said about revenue mobilization, and the focus has been that we should be changing tax rates, we should be increasing tax rates, we should be coming up with new taxes. I don't think that is the solution. The solution...
maneno itachemuka hapo kidogo kidogo. But you know, CPA Mbadi is an expert from ODM. He'll guide us, he'll guide the country in the right direction. Lakini najua penye yako hata yeye mwenyewe kichwa inamuuma na maneno itachemka. Again, CPM Mbadi says that he's proposing a Kenya shillings 4.34 trillion budget that will see 3.22 trillion going to recurrent expenditure and only 676.7 billion Kenya shillings will go to development projects. Hiyo maneno ni ngumu. We're getting like 3/4 of the budget going to the recurrent expenditure. Only a very small amount of money that is going to be to development. Again, the funny point of it is that someone is opining here that the president is campaigning. As you can see, the president is already in campaign mode. The president is campaigning and using public resources to mobilize people, which has no value to economy. If those funds were invested in education or health, it would be much better. You know, president, in real sense, the president is using a lot of money in mobilization and his campaign calls, at least trying to tell Kenyans what he has done. Me, on that, I strongly disagree with the president on what he's doing on earlier campaigns, because when you do development, you don't need to remind people that have done development. Because, for instance, if the government builds a road somewhere, you don't need to tell people that it is the government that have built this and this road, kwa sababu barabara itaonekana. So the president doesn't need to spend a lot of time telling Kenyans that he's doing work, he's doing this and this to Kenyans, which is very wrong. Again, according to the 2025-2026 budget proposals, it is believed that this budget has not catered enough for the health sector. And experts warn Kenyans forthcoming budgets on its risk. Remember, it is the Parliamentary Budget Office that advises Parliament on how to go about budget making process. But the Parliamentary Budget Office is already raising concerns as we gear onto the 2025-2026 budget. Hopefully we are not going to have again the resist finance bill. The lawmakers should be wise enough. The lawmakers and the treasury should be wise enough and listen to what the budget parliamentary office is advising them on. Again, coming back to the I think that is up with the Standard newspaper is giving highlights on the 2025-2026 budget. Coming to the Daily Nation, headline is state jobs for those with godfathers. This is not something new. This is something that has been going on for quite some time. Nowadays, when you don't have a godfather, it is difficult for you to get a state job. State jobs are not for merit. It is about who do you know. Ndio huo unasikia unaambiwa uende interview na unaambiana enda uambie huyo mtu umetumwa na fulani fulani. That is what happens, and it is very normal in Kenya nowadays. Seems like Kenyans have normalized it, because nowadays maybe there is a job opening, a state job opening, people rarely apply, because that attitude and that mentality that you should know someone for you to get that job, it is there and it has sunken deep into Kenyans' heads. Again, another heading coming on the headline at the Daily Nation, alcohol blow set to return amid surge in road carnage. According to the report, at least 1,139 people have been killed in road accidents in the last 3 months. That is a very big number, raising concerns about a slide back into highway slaughter and prompting authorities to introduce alcohol blow tests for drivers nationwide. But alcohol blow is there.
Basi nizime mataa.
Sawa. Sawa.
Weka mdomo. Weka mdomo. Puliza.
Na nguvu.
Puliza. Endelea. Karibu.
Unawakata.
Usikate kama zinakwambia kata. Endelea. Unakata. Usikate kama zinakwambia. Endelea. Unakata. Unajua atakuweka na offense ya kata kupuliza kwa sababu ufuate amri mbele.
Sawa.
Na hiyo ni mbaya zaidi. Sinakupa example, angalia hapa unapuliza hivi. Bila kukata hewa. Sawa. Endelea. Usiache.
Na wacha kuweka ulimi.
Hebu tumia samena chini. Endelea. Naona juu unakaa uko below.
Continue wewe unawacha.
Cooperate. Endelea. Sasa. Ni rahisi sana. Legal limit is 0.35. The legal limit 0.35. Ndio limit yake. Hapa ni ngapi? 0.42. Utakuwa client. Utakuwa client wetu leo.
Very good. Come to this woman.
Wewe rudi huko. Listen, wewe rudi pale. Sawa, no problem. Wewe rudi pale. Sasa nitakupatia.
Gari imekujiwa. Sawa. Si gari lazima ikujiwe with the driver. Angalia wa.
I don't have any dispute.
No.
Wewe rudi hapo kwanza nitakupatia.
My friends, check it. Tumekuwa nyinyi hapa Gates Muthaiga, KPO, MPS, NHIF. Msinitese, ninaomba. I want to go home. Kwa nini mnitese?
Ama iko tu Nairobi peke yake. Me always see alcohol blow there in Ngara. I always see alcohol blow sometimes at the Jogoo Road. I see alcohol blow sometimes at Safari Park. Now I don't know which alcohol blow will be returning. Ama ni the whole of countrywide. Because in Nairobi, me I see alcohol blow. Each and every weekend, alcohol blow is always there. But I think this one can help because the road carnage has imekuwa watu wamekufa sana through road accidents. But many a times me always believe road accidents are always brought by kiburi ya watu. Ni watu tu sana kwa barabara, watu wamejaza kiburi, and you wonder where are we heading to as a nation? Because wewe unaona lori imetoka huko, imekuashia full lights. Maybe it has lost its brakes. But you, since you believe that you are on your lane, you don't want to give way. You know, sometimes it's just a matter of common sense. Because huyu mtu hata ingia tu kwa lane yako hivyo directly, if there is no problem. Maybe especially these trucks, they always fond of losing brakes. So ukiona lori imetoka huko mbio, it is in your lane and it is full force speeding towards you, you should just give way, because maybe this truck has issues, but again you resist being believing that you are the one on the right. It ends up being fatal. Na ndio kwa maana tunaona these many road carnages. It is just people to man up. Kenya drivers should man up. It is high time Kenyan drivers should man up, and people just tuache hii kiburi mingi yenye watu tunaonyeshana kwa barabara. I think that is up for today for our newspaper reviews. For these and more updates, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Lord Aboga TV, and remember to click the notification bell so that when we come up with these news briefings, you should be among the first people to view them. This was my time. This was the Lord Aboga Show.